Welcome back to Duck Stream. We are now joined by General Manager Pat Verbeek. Pat, after you saw that card turned over, what was your initial reaction to seeing that the Ducks have the #2 pick in this year's NHL Draft?
Well, I was excited. Probably not as excited as getting #1, but I'm still excited. I think going into this thing, at worst we were going to get #3, and I know the players at the top, and I'm excited, to add one of those players to our lineup for the future. So there's certainly a lot to be excited about. Obviously, Connor Bedard's probably a real special player, but I think the players that are coming up behind him have a chance to be outstanding as well.
Is there a little bit of disappointment not having that #1 pick?
Well, you get so close to it, right? You get so close to the #1, but I think that, like I said before, I mean, we were, probably in the last 3-4 days of the season, we were looking at 5, possibly, with the possibility of going to 7. That would have been, really disappointing, especially after going through the hard season that we did go through. So it's like, I was talking with, our president, Aaron Teets, like we were playing a little bit with house money in the sense that, we had so many things that that had to go right for us even to kind of sit in that #1 position, to draft #1 overall. So, like I said, I'm excited. I think we're going to get a really good player, a player that's going to really help us down the road to win.
So this is a very deep draft of talent all across the board. Now, it seems that you feel you are confident in getting a player that could move the needle in this rebuild?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can look at the next couple players that are rated on the draft list. They have size. They have skill. They have speed. All components that I want to add to our group.
How prepared do you and your team feel of your knowledge of these top couple guys?
Well, we know them very well. Now, it's going to be, there was probably not going to be a debate with Connor Bedard, obviously at #1, but now there's going to be a lot of debate on how and we're going to go through this process of, lining all the players up. There's a lot of scenarios that could unfold, even before the draft. So we have to be prepared for everything.
You talk about those scenarios too, and being at this #1 pick, you kind of have the opportunity to dictate what the draft could look like after you as well. How do you feel about having that opportunity?
Well, see, we get we're going to get the pick. Obviously, Connor's going to go probably first. Now we get to dictate, pick the player that we want. And so sometimes if you go down to #3 now, you're just kind of waiting to see, how things are going to slide out. So we'll. It's an exciting time for us, and I think our scouting staff is very excited, at this opportunity.
So going back to some of your time with the Detroit Red Wings, when you were there back in 2020, the team had the best odds to win the lottery, ultimately falling to 4, getting Lucas Raymond. You've been a part of that also a little bit with Tampa Bay. You were able to be a part of drafting Andrei Vasilevsky, an amazing goaltender in the NHL. So you have this experience, but what does that experience provide you while approaching the draft process?
Having healthy debate. I think, when you go through, the experiences, making sure that we're going through a healthy debate within our group on where, the way, getting that, hopefully getting the draft order in, right. And then, and making sure we're doing, our due diligence on the players' background and really getting to dive in, what they're like, from a personal standpoint. So there's still a lot of work left to be done from that aspect, is what experience has taught me.
And then when you look at the rest of the draft, I mean, the Anaheim Ducks have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds, 9 overall in this draft at this moment. How do you plan to continue strengthening the prospects within the organization's pool?
What I've set before our scouts are a certain criteria of the type of players that we want to draft. What I look for, team championship teams, what the ingredients they have. I hate to say I want to mimic, but there's certain criteria that I want every player on our team to have in order to, at some point when it gets hard, that those players are going to be able to overcome adversity. They're going to fight through all that stuff. Those are little intangibles that I want all our players to have.
Pat Verbeek, thank you so much for joining us on Duck Stream.
All right, Alexis.
Good luck at the draft.
Thank you.